Right. So I've got 2 words for you. Pantsuit.
An interesting SmackDown that definitely revolved around the Tribal Chief. Definitely the biggest story of the show for sure. Sometimes 100%. Definitely hard to watch. We'll talk about those moments. This is things you might have missed. And before we get started, please make sure you've hit the like button. It really does help these videos out. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. It was all about who will bend the knee. Basically, this is the new Kiss Your Ass Club, right? I love the graphics, though. These graphics look really, really cool by WWE. Of course, it was led by Xavier Woods, now Kingwood, coming out and basically challenging a dysfunctional bloodline. I think it's safe to say dysfunctional. Almost felt a little bit like Jimmy Uso was being isolated, being pushed out again by Roman Reigns, and Roman really laid it on. Did you also notice again the look that Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns were giving each other throughout this entire promo? Very interesting. Of course, he referred to the wise man once again and almost scared him. He's almost trying to scare Paul Heyman into doing what he wants and not go with Brock Lesnar. And that kind of story and that power play kept playing out tonight. Again, going at it with Jimmy Uso. I did see a few people on Twitter and Discord discussing the idea of maybe they're going to take Jimmy Uso out of the bloodline. Maybe this is the start of the bloodline falling apart. I still think there's so much more they can do with it. I don't think they're going to do that just yet. But of course, Xavier Woods, Kingwood did win the match. And Jimmy Uso went to take the knee until Roman showed up. And the beatdown on the New Day was OMG. And you know what? I love it. Because this is a great setup for Roman Big E. People aren't realizing that this is the setup. This is the reason why Big E wants to hurt Roman Reigns. Because Roman Reigns just destroyed his friends. And it looks like next week we could get Roman versus Xavier Woods. As he said, if you show up next week, etc., I'll teach you a lesson. So it does look like that match will happen too. Speaking of King Woods, though, he's got brand new Titantron. You can see it on the screen. One thing I can't play you, though, is he's also got brand new entrance music. And you know what? It's really good. I actually really like it. It's rare that they change someone's music, and it's good. They did come out with a New Day theme at the start of the show, though, so I don't think that's gone away just yet. But he has got new theme song. Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, they've got new team name. And it's actually quite funny. Los Lotharios. When you Google the definition of Lothario, it is a man who behaves selfishly and irresponsibly in his sexual relationships with women. The example they gave, they are seduced by handsome Lothario who gains control of their financial affairs. I mean, they are like confident ladies' men, so it does kind of make sense, but what kind of name is that?
I don't even know if that's PG.
But they were successful over the makeshift team of Cesaro and Mansoor, so it does look like they're getting some kind of push on SmackDown, which is always good to see. I think both are really talented, so that's great. Shout out to Naomi tonight. This gear is amazing. Honestly, I think it's the best Naomi gear I've ever seen, and she's had some great stuff before. And it was Naomi that was successful in her match with Shayna Baszler this week. Kind of surprising. Until she wasn't successful when authority figure Sonya Deville came down to the ring, said that Naomi had grabbed the rope before the pinfall, therefore it was null and void. The match restarted and Shayna Baszler choked out Naomi. Sonya Deville once again abusing that power, screwing Naomi, and we now just need to know why. This feud has been built really well on SmackDown. I'm really enjoying the Sonya Deville power trip. I'll tell you who's not, though. Pat McAfee. He's always critical of it. But this week on SmackDown, did you catch him saying, "We are back on Fox. Stupid baseball is over." You gotta love Pat McAfee, don't you? But the interesting news this week with the commentary team is Michael Cole. Michael Cole has announced that he is dealing with 65% hearing loss. He actually said that they make these special in-ear pieces that go underneath his headsets on air so he can actually hear. That is incredible. And the fact that he's still able to commentate the way he does, well done, Michael Cole. Like, hats off to you, dude. So much respect. We found out this week that Ridge Holland is basically a Sheamus stan. Yep, that's a thing. I've got no idea why. Hopefully this leads to them being a tag team. I think that would be cool. With maybe eventually, like, Ridge Holland turning on Sheamus. I think that would be definitely welcomed. No more eat your tank. Shotzi Blackheart literally snapped this week. She was angry, and I've got to give WWE some credit here because this promo was great. She was angry. She spoke about not getting championships opportunities, obviously the women's tag team titles. She spoke about losing her tag partner, Tegan Nox. She spoke about the fact that Sasha Banks cost her that biggest match of her career, but she also did say she can basically beat everyone up and do everything without a tank. So it does look like the tank is officially gone. I love the tank, so that's such a shame. Such a shame. Obviously, Lily is back on WWE Shop. If you didn't see the news earlier this week, there is an exclusive holiday version of the Alexa Bliss Twisted Doll on WWE Shop right now. And you know what that means, don't you? Don't worry, I won't do it to you on a SmackDown one. I lied! Jeff Hardy is the next guest on the next Broken Skull Sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin on November 25th. This could be really, really class because usually when someone's on these Broken Skull Sessions, if they're in WWE, of course they get a push. And people are wondering if this is going to be the time when we start seeing Willow in WWE. We know Jeff wants to do it. He's teased it on TV now. So maybe it's only a matter of time. I wouldn't be upset if this starts happening maybe December time, setting up for maybe a Rumble appearance or something. That would be cool. Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre happened tonight, and what a match it was. Genuinely a great match. Although Ricochet looked a little bit heelish out there, slapping Drew McIntyre. But they didn't just use Ricochet as a jobber. They put him over. He looked great. The agile work set of Ricochet was really showcased, being able to counter moves that Drew McIntyre would do every damn night of the week perfectly. Amazing. Obviously, this is Drew McIntyre. This is Drew down, and of course that means he was always going to win the match, and he did with a Claymore kick while Ricochet was hitting a moonsault. Incredible ending, but of course it was Mustafa Ali who was stood backstage watching the screen. After last week in his match with Drew, it was interesting to see what was going to happen. He tried later on to give some advice to Ricochet, who wasn't interested at all. Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali, sign me up. That is a feud. That is a match I want to see. I think that would be really, really fun. But something I noticed on this picture, in the background, is that Commander Aziz's jacket. Is he walking around naked somewhere? We don't need that mental image. Especially when we found out that's apparently what Roman Reigns was doing last week. Yowie wowie. Something I noticed it last week as well, is Happy Corbin puts his hat over the face of Riddick Moss, Madcap Moss, as they make their entrance. And I just wondered if this was something that could develop into a way to eventually split these people up. Maybe. It didn't seem to bother Madcap Moss, but maybe in the future it will. Something to keep an eye out on. But right now, I'd like to send my thanks to the Viking Raiders who was able to come out and stop that stupid Happy Talk segment. I'm so over that at this point. Jeff Hardy and Aaliyah were seen backstage. Good to get Aaliyah on television. Now can we get her in the ring, please, WWE? And also Jeff Hardy too. I mean, he shouldn't be backstage yet, but hopefully it's a sign that there's stuff to come for him. But again, it was Sami Zayn who offered advice to Aaliyah, taking on the new role as a locker room leader. We saw him then later on doing the same thing for Hit Row. Hard to watch this for sure. Without B Fab, they definitely didn't hit the same way. They really, really didn't. It might take some time to get used to it. They did, by the way, on SmackDown, already edit B Fab out of Hit Row's theme song. dang, that was a bit hard to watch for sure. But hopefully she's going to be very successful wherever she goes. As I mentioned, there were definitely those parts of SmackDown where you knew people were missing, and it's always hard to watch those moments, for sure. And it will be for a number of weeks, and possibly for those factions like Hit Row, it might damage them forever. It's possible. Unfortunately, this is wrestling, and these athletes are trying to entertain us. So judging the show just based on that, I have to give it an 8 out of 10. It was a very solid show, good action, good storyline progression. I enjoyed it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like the video, share the video, and if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Peace!